Today's episode of the Meet the Brave podcast is powered by Northwest Pizza and Pasta, where if you think the pizza is good, try hands down the best wings in the valley. Nobody, and I mean nobody, does wings like NWP. Order now online for takeout or delivery, or you can just pull up on them and eat in a restaurant because the world is slowly opening back up. And I do mean slowly because Oregon is kind of behind everybody and their numbers keep doing this weird shit, but pull up on family up there, tell Morgan, Meet the Brave podcast sent you. Today's episode is also powered by the REEF Studios, downtown Oakland, Black-owned studio, myself, OG Jaren, Brian Simmons, where you can get multi-tracking, audiobook, podcasts, you name it, it can be done. Follow the REEF Studios on Instagram and DM for inquiries for booking time, and do it now because it's filling up. It's about to be summer and everybody want to have a hit, and you know where you got to come to get that shit. Today's episode is powered by Uplifters, Black-owned domino company who recently did a collaboration with Grand National to do the original 6-piece set dominoes, and I've been handing out L's all left and right. L been ducking me, Lex been ducking me. I can go through my hit list, but niggas been ducking me, so it don't even matter at this point. But follow Uplifters, no vowels. The link is always in the description. How about that? Order your set of dominoes and then let me know. Pull up. We might even be announcing a Grand National Domino tournament ASAP, but they can just pencil me in the championship.
Is that just for Grand National, so y'all could be like king of the hill between y'all, or is it outside?
No. Okay, it's outside invites, and we're gonna really see who the king around.
Yeah, I'm just checking. If y'all just trying to be king of the hill or Grand National, man, y'all own bragging rights.
I would enter in. I'll probably be recording it.
It's all good, Lex. You go one-handed, man. You only need one hand for the dominoes, bro. Catch that ass whooping.
What a sicko. Last but not least, today's episode of the Meet the Brave podcast is powered by Let's Bubble Productions. Our brother Alexius Franklin and co-host of the Meet the Brave podcast, and making everything look grandiose as far as our video goes. He also is an extreme renowned storyteller, documentary, movie maker, series maker, you name it, he can get it done. So tap in with Let's Bubble Productions if you want your shit to look as dope as ours. It's as simple as that. I don't know any other way else to say it. Lex, did I nail it? How you feel?
Yeah, you gave me the extra sauce. I feel special this morning.
Sprinkle me, man. Let's do it. So Meet the Brave podcast. I am Monty Draper.
I am LG.
Lex B-U-B.
My brothers, y'all know how we get it. Tap in. How y'all feeling?
What up, folk?
Shit, I'm still a little. I'm trying to wake up from too many Patron shots last night.
Too many.
Too many what? What'd you say?
I said too many Patron shots.
Oh, okay. I feel like you did the own fade in your voiceover.
I did.
Like too many Patron shots. You know what I mean? Like you went real quiet over there, my man.
Oh man, we are remote today. Lex is away on assignment. Lex, is it too soon to talk about the project you're working on, or can you give anything?
It's coming. We'll see.
Okay, yeah, it's so dope. Just to see everybody working and expanding beyond, shit from the pod to books to other film projects, you name it. Niggas really out here getting it. And so just the context of how busy folks are, but how we still making plans. Lex was on the text like, yo, like just a heads up and be out the way, but we still getting this episode in. We not slowing up. So that is what you are experiencing today. Real ones out here getting it. We proud of you though, bro. You really out there trapping for real. How was it?
The first day of shooting was good. Pretty crazy. Seen some shit. Seen.
My man said, see some shit.
Oh man.
I'll go to that.
No, I do indeed. What I did have a question though. We got a lot to get to. First of all, shout out to everybody on our listenership. It's our weekly tap in. Everybody that fucks with us, thank y'all so much. Everybody that listens on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Stitcher, Castbox, Simplecast. And I do want niggas to know that we have people that listen across those platforms. It's so dope. I want to send a salute to my goddad. He sent me a screenshot of the link, and he listens on Stitcher, and I damn near fell out. I was like, that's so dope. But he was just sitting there, salute. Just he loves the content, he loves the dialogue. So shout out to my goddad. And I once he texted me, G,
yeah,
I thought about it, and I was like, wait a minute. This might be where my original love for broadcasting comes from, because Goddad David was the one, like, if it was a wedding, if it was a funeral, if it was graduation, he always had his little radio, FM AM radio in his pocket with his headphones in. He wasn't missing the game for nobody. He don't give a fuck what you got going on. It could be your bar mitzvah. He not missing the game. And I realized that my love for that may come from him, because he listened to talk radio, all the shit, and I really be in the car listening to podcasts, audiobook, talk radio, you name it, and on road trips. And the early days, we'd be in the big Sprinter van, and be Goldie and Dill be the first ones to turn on the football game on the AM station, and them niggas be in the car looking at us like y'all can't be serious. Like, yeah, definitely.
No.
Wanted to send a shout out to them, but then Lex, bro, the shit that you've been doing with the videos, bro, from the reels to the YouTube, our YouTube subscribers it's moving, bro. It's so dope.
You've been running it up, Lex, man. Good shit,
man, dog. Like,
especially with the different ways that you tweak, you know, the background situation or the tagline or just things that you just can continuously try to creatively put into place. So I see you over there, you know, making it work.
Man,
chef guy.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Peace, King.
I see that these drills been running up too.
The what?
Hey.
The what been running up?
Oh, we forgot. You know, LG don't have the Insta no more. It's nah, it's some shit that
cover good. What happened?
Nah, it's some shit to get rid of TikTok, basically.
Oh, gotcha. Okay, dope. Oh, so that's the one you ended up going with?
Mm-hmm.
He figured out the format for it and got it dialed in. Like, so you really own it, bro. And then, you know, it's really giving. What I always imagine is, like, the content was so rich it would just live forever. And so people are getting familiar, tapping in, and like, wait a minute, man, you do. I love what y'all be talking about. You know what I'm saying? So it's really dope to see how people tap in and how they engage. And shout out Toby, Tea Time. He hit me. He was like, bro, L be having me dying. I was like, no, the nigga's a sicko, bro. Don't be fooled. L is a real fucking sicko. And all you got to do is press play on one of the episodes to figure that out.
L be to himself, man. You know what I'm saying? That's what I got.
How was the week? I guess by my measure, it was fairly slow, like pop culture news, if that's where you want to go. But a lot happened on some personal shit. How did the week sort of temper for y'all? Where was it at for y'all? Did it feel busy? Did it feel slow? Did it feel like personal life shit was moving fast?
Yeah, no, it wasn't much in pop culture. So I think for the most part, it was just a lot of just life stuff, to tell you the truth. I mean, just getting a bunch of life stuff in order, and you know, just a constant educational thing. I mean, I think that's really, when you do that every single day, you really, like, it doesn't feel dull or feel like there's anything missing in the world, you know?
Yeah.
That helps out a lot. It's just, you know, I'm reading Be Water, My Friend right now. And
how was that?
It's dope as fuck.
Be Water, My Friend. I gotta get on that.
It's written by
we damn near got a book club, G.
Hey, real life. It's written by Bruce Lee's daughter. From all of Bruce Lee's like writings or whatever. And that's what I was talking about as far as like Bruce Lee when he passed. he didn't write a book, but he constantly educated himself, but he couldn't write a book because he felt that if he wrote one, then people would be stuck in whenever that book ends, they'll feel like the knowledge of it ends. You know what I mean? So since he was constantly learning, he didn't feel comfortable putting something so concrete down when there's more to it. You know what I mean? When he's constantly in the process. So it's just interesting.
That I think that's so fire. It'd be the most humblest niggas that have the most supreme amount of discipline that are our greatest teachers, but because of what people sort of attach themselves to or sort of assign as gospel, they miss the niggas who are doing the work. Often I feel like and so just minds and individuals like that exist is such a dope thing that this earth got to have someone like a Bruce Lee, who was so disciplined, and in application. I think is more so, and we've been having to have these consistent sort of reoccurring talks as a crew, as a collective, in the space of scaling, right? But what we're leading with is the concept of wellness, and wellness through the lens of like the Black American experience and what the fuck that means, because it's never been approached this way. It's never been talked about this way, and for damn sure, it's never been the leading sort of foundational value for an entertainment agency or entertainment company. It's like, nah, bro, all that shit could be had, especially when it comes to storytelling. And when you talk about Be Water, my friend, and the concept, like that's really the kind of care. I think all of us, especially all of us on this show, aspire to have that level of care and that level of mindfulness when creating something and going like, yo, man, I'm not pretending to be better than or know it. Or like the goal is really for you as the reader, the consumer, to tap in and realize you possess the same sort of bandwidth to have the same discipline, but then also execute the same application.
Yeah, I think that's a cool thing about the way that she wrote it, is that since it's coming from her, she has all the insight, of course, but she's also learning more about her father as she goes, because he passed when she was 4. So she has to, she most of her story she's getting from what he wrote down. You know what I mean? So that's the angle that she gets. But as far as like knowing who Bruce Lee actually is, he was, his insight into he had a very high temper. He was short. He had a short manner, so like he would easily be frustrated, and his temper would rise. So like all the work on the discipline part of things, kind of life shows that to you at some point. You know what I mean? So it was a process. But the thing that you can say, was super goal oriented. You know what I mean? And he was, he saw things that he saw things for himself. And in a way, for a lot of people that end up passing early, that tends to be the case a lot, is that you start to feel how time works, how quickly time is moving, and you get a lot in a short period of time. You know what I mean? And that's kind of the angle that was. So yeah, it's interesting to read. I think everybody should try to tap into that.
And that's what's up. Now it's dope having this. I had a really, really dope conversation with Kev this week. And he was essentially bigging up you guys. But he was just talking about the difference of having a crew and having a support system or not. And even me, like, as for as grateful as I think I am of y'all, it's conversations like that where I'm reminded of how much gratitude I need to extend to the concept of having like your immediate circle be your niggas for real, and be blood and for most of the crew. And then Lex may as well be blood at this point, you know what I'm saying? So it's like but his point was, he's like, nah, bro, you don't understand. Like, I've never had this. He's like, it's one thing to have OGs and like women and all these other people be your accountability circle. It's a whole other thing to have your niggas be your accountability circle. So it just hit different. He's like, so the checks and balances on the music and on the art and all the shit, and then even just on some player shit is like it's a different type of energy. He's like he's like y'all got that. He's like watching y'all move is the sickest shit. It's like it's just like, and I was like, damn, it is really cool when you put it in context. So just to for your niggas to be like, what you read, what you want. Lex quick to send us some shit like, yo, check y'all just tap in like ASAP, So it's a really dope feedback circle, information circle, just staying balanced and informed more than anything. And I appreciate my niggas for that, man. Now,
for sure.
Now to the debauchery. Not really, but I struggle with it because everybody's like, yo, the world back open. The world ain't closed for depending on what type of time you've been on.
Mm-hmm.
And so, but now let's look for reference sake, let's say the world is back open now, right? It's about to get sick.
Oh,
we've only been saying it the entire time it's been happening, but now that it's here, that shit in Miami was kind of wild, G.
Hey, waking up to that, man. It was pretty sick and pretty crazy.
What was the official count? Did you see the official count?
As of right now, 22.
22 shot or 22 dead?
22 shot, 2 dead so far, so 2 fatal shot. But just the way that it transpired was the sick part, and that the same way like when Poe sent that video to us, the same way we looked at that that many people, that body of people in short corridors like that, your anxiety goes through the roof. That's how it was for this situation, man. Like that was a club situation. I don't know what the function was, but the way that it transpired, all it was a van pulled up, 3 men hopped out with semi-automatics and handguns and just shot towards the crowd. There was no, you know what I mean? Like it wasn't like a specific person that you were going for. It was literally it was like some Grand Theft Auto type shit, Like
these niggas playing Fortnite for real.
They're playing Fortnite for real. They're playing,
Jesus, man. I see that, and so that's the part that concerns me. I remember when we were younger. I think it was the summer right before you were getting ready to leave for college. I'm almost certain it was that summer. But we had the whips. We fucking around like we fucking with chicks and from Sac all the way to San Jose. So we trying to be outside, and then hella people got knocked down that summer. And moms was on some like, nah, y'all gotta shut it down. And we like, and it was a fucked up thing to say, but I remember saying it at the time. I'm like, Mom, I know that's your partner's son that got killed, but that nigga was in some bullshit. just pure blank. So I know it's hot this summer, but it's hot for the niggas that it's hot for. Like, granted, accidents happen, niggas get caught slipping all the time. Like that does happen.
Mm-hmm.
But so often that is so rare, and the hardest thing to ever say to a grieving mother, to a grieving family, is that your son or daughter was in some bullshit for real. And nobody wants to hear that, and it just don't be the time. Like it just don't be the time. But that was, I remember being so frustrated because nigga, we just got the whip. I'm getting my first little, you know what I'm saying? Now the summer over because a few niggas got knocked down. I'm like, that nigga was wilding.
Right.
We don't even fuck with chicks that live in a fucked up neighborhood. I did that one time and almost lost my life and never did it again.
The risk wasn't meeting no reward.
G, but so
the first time the risk was on point. Like it was like I could take that.
This is hilarious. So I'm in like freshman year of biology. There was a junior in there. Oh, she was bad. Oh, and so I was just like, I was on her, but I never had that energy of like pressing somebody. But her, for whatever reason, I just wanted her bad.
Yeah.
And so like halfway through the year, she's okay, but then she get a boyfriend, all this shit. So by the time I start driving, she's graduated now. She start giving niggas some play. She like, oh, pull up. She like, pull up. And this is the day. These are before you can get the Addy and like put it in and go.
Like see where it's actually at.
Yeah, she had to like give me direction. So I'm like, I think I know where that's at, but in my mind, going, if that's where it's at, I probably shouldn't go. Nigga, she was in the Barretts in Central.
Mm. Oh.
No, no, thank you.
I don't want to hang around the Bears in Central.
Wait, but you would think I didn't go. No, I still went. Still definitely went. It was and just risked my life. Like,
I mean, you wanted it.
Yeah. But
niggas was youthful. Like, what you want to do?
But the whole ride home, I'm like, oh, this is how niggas get knocked down. Fucking them. I have no business over.
You know, small glips in like your mental strength. Like just the one moment you do some wild shit. Like I had so many of those close encounters. Like it's fucking ridiculous if you just looking back on it. You know what I mean? Like it gets to a point where you're just like, if it happens, it happens, and that was on me. You know what I mean? Like I did that. You know, like I'd have been in and been around way too many of the shootouts, and when that shit transpires and you see it happen in slow motion, and you still just get that last little bit of fun in.
Hey, the Shireen skit make all the sense. When Kendrick did it, I was like, nigga, yep, I relate. That was me. Where you from? Where your granny stay? And that's the other thing about hood politics.
That's
not about. Sure. It's not just what your address is. Where your granny stay. Where your granny stay is where you from for real. Like don't ever get that fucked up. Nah, man. And so I my bad. I went off on a tangent, but all that to say, like those are the politics you can maneuver around. Like even when it's hot outside and niggas is funking, you know how to like dodge the phone.
That has some level of code to it. That has some level of rhyme or reason to it. You know what I mean? Like you don't have to be a part of that. You are choosing to be a part of that.
Exactly. This you don't got no choice.
This folks was just outside. You know what I mean?
You waiting in line, you at Rolling Loud, whatever. Like yeah. I'm like, oh no, I'm good. I'm good. For what?
That's what I'm saying though. Like that's gonna be the difficult part about opening back up and then just trying to do anything that has to do with a large body of water. I mean, a large body of people. Like any, you know what I mean? Like it's gonna be interesting trying to navigate that space again, knowing or just how long is the timeline before people start wilding like that. You know what I mean? Like all the folks that have been cooped up, when is their time going to pass from when they're tripping for real? You know what I mean? Like when are they going to settle in to, because a lot of like what we forget is that the world shutting down for highly social people was bad.
Yeah.
But think about the people that are socially awkward, and then you just try to put them into a space where be social again. You know what I mean? Or you just isolated the socially awkward folks, which they're probably all right with. You know what I mean? But,
or the people who were naturally social, who experienced some sort of mental health lapse during the quarantine. Like that's the part that is not being discussed. People who were already operating as functioning beings, experiencing like true mental health issues during the domestic violence rate was through the roof. That means that some of the niggas that were passing as functioning citizens had lapses and was in there beating on their significant other. So then there's that. The suicide rate was through the roof during the quarantine. So we're talking about a whole new civilization. It's not the same thing. I personally have friends who are now diagnosed with manic depressive bipolar, like the diagnosed with different things, and they weren't going into the pandemic.
Yeah.
So I'm like, now I'm going. Do we really just flip the switch? And the other thing, so there's the shooting in Miami. Last week there was we didn't discuss it. I just didn't have the heart to be honest with you. The party bus shooting in Oakland. I mean, I know we like touched on it, but the actual ramifications of what the fallout of that is. The type of guns those kids, those are babies we're talking about. These aren't grown people. These are kids with fucking automatic weapons. The fallout from how much money was in the streets for such a short amount of time.
Right.
The PPP money, it was a lot of it, like a lot of it. So a couple niggas I personally came into contact with that touched a few million out of the PPP scam.
Yeah. It was Oakland.
And they bought cars, Gucci, and guns. Like that's no exaggeration. Those were the things that were bought. So now that the money's gone, the cars are getting repossessed, the Gucci or whatever. Guess what's left?
Gotta go out there and get it.
Shout out to Kev. Kev and I have Kev broke that down, and I'm just like, huh. So we haven't fully felt the ramifications of the pandemic, and now they're gonna just flip the switch. Your commander in chief, your leader. Shout out to motherfucking Biden, who's out there just making deals left and right on our behalf. Nigga, if we didn't call this shit.
Shouting out Biden is nuts.
I'm shouting them out every time because we called it. G, we called this shit. We called it.
Oh no, that's real. Like somebody has to speak on Biden because he's doing an amazing job of being how my background filter is right now. Like this might as well be Biden behind me right now.
What's going on over there?
Hey, you ain't gonna be able to. You can't catch him doing a thing. Has he addressed the public yet?
What? I don't owe y'all nothing. Y'all voted me in. I'm late to the neck. What you want me to say?
I just seen Kamala a few times, but that's only for like photo ops. But I don't know where the fuck Biden at.
Kamala out here finessing, nigga. She's a public. She about to put public figure in her Instagram bio. Nigga.
Hey, what?
Public figure, vice president of the United States.
Public figure first. Public figure / vice president.
Hey, we know what's more important.
Oh, you're United States.
Staying in the mental health space though, G. I like for me, it's becoming more apparent that the mental health conversation and the pursuit of being famous or infamous have always gone hand in hand, but now there's a whole nother unique relationship to it. The people who are in the public eye, who have acquired the fame, are going, hey, y'all don't come over here. No, stay. Like the cries for help are apparent. Mm-hmm. Meanwhile, there's this cesspool of crabs in a barrel that are fighting for that fame or being infamous, I won't speak on the world, but our country's lack of empathy for mental health just makes for the most deadly potion you could possibly imagine. I had that thought this week. I was like, huh. And like you can go viral. You can go viral and be famous really quick.
Oh, I mean, I think that the country is more receptive to mental health if the person looks like them, but it's not. But that doesn't work out for our community, unfortunately, because there is no outside attention to that community. You know what I mean? So it's going to be hard for the community to therefore give a fuck about mental health for each other if the outside public doesn't. But the outside public is very receptive to mental health for their own. You know what I mean? Like they'll make the highest of excuses for their own. You know, everything's mental health to them if they're failing at something. You know, like mostly Demi Lovato is getting so many mental health chances. You know,
Logic,
you know what I mean? Like this is just like public people so that people understand the names, but
yeah,
this is across the board. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like people do this for their children all the fucking time. You know, how the police are interact with their children. You know what I mean? It's due to mental health. Like they'll let them beat their ass. You know what I mean? In the process of trying to get them restrained in order to, in the name of, oh, they're going through something. You know, they never even thought about, you know, that being a threat. You know, so I think that's a commonality. But the famous mental health stuff, that's a hot button because like folks are using that left and right on. Like it was interesting just seeing like we're
gonna say nothing. We're gonna say it.
I knew that was the angle that Joe was gonna take.
Yeah,
I knew it.
Yeah.
I knew when all this shit hit the fan, it was gonna be a matter of y'all should watch out for my mental health in this moment. And I'm like, fam, and everyone, this is a public service announcement for everyone. That's not how mental health works. You know what I mean? It's not only for when people are dumping on you. It's for when you're up as well.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like you should probably think about while you're up, mental health of everyone else. You know what I mean? That you should probably think about that at all times, but especially when you're up because you have the extra amount in like your cup for it to spill over to other people to help them out. You know what I mean? So that should probably be when you especially think about other people's mental health, including your own. Like people understand like what you do for others is a reflection and also how you feel about yourself. So when you're finally like empty, you know what I mean, and people are dumping on you, feel like you can't take it no more, you should have had some reserve during that time. You know what I mean? Like it should have been some level of reserve in there. So that's the only thing to me is just like when people utilize mental health. You know what I mean?
And so that was really where it was coming from was Charlemagne.
That was nasty. He's
Charlemagne,
been
Charlemagne, Joe, Kwame Brown. Like there's that act, that entire sort of circle or sphere that's causing a wave in the entertainment space, and that's
Chrissy Teigen.
And we're talking about
never thought that shit would cut around on her. She never thought it would.
What? You know what I'm saying? And so to see how it's leveraged, to see how it's thrown around, to see the lack of regard and how serious of a conversation and how like normal people without access to the resources that these folks have, how they have to interact and interface and sort of come to grips with their mental health disorders or their loved ones. Fuck that. Their loved ones' mental health disorders. Like this is shit we talk about. And these individuals are leveraging it for whatever the fuck. Like I can't even be certain what the point is at this stage. So it was just one of those things. But what really
my bad. I think it's because mental health is at the cusp. Like I think it's like when I was talking about like people or just like businesses wanting to get in and early in on water because there's going to be a shortage at some point. I think that's how mental health is. You know what I mean? Like it's not essential at this moment for the public, but they see all the like how much the entire world is like catering into not the entire world. So talk about the U.S. This is where we live at, but like how they're catering into like everybody's individual things like that are going on with their mental. So like what they identify as, how they can group up and have a backing for it. You know, like how people can tribe up this way. How companies are catering to a lot of this because they're just thinking about their green. So I think what's going on with the mental health is that they can see it, just like at some point they had to see podcasting. You know what I mean? Like eventually it's at the very beginning, and then you just throw a bunch of money in. So they're trying to get in early for when the money starts to catch up to the attention of it. You know?
I fucking love Rogan. I know he's going through a lot right now too. But
Joe
he had a guest. Yeah, he had a guest they trying to get him the fuck out of here. They trying to figure out how to get him up. Oh yeah. It's like I want to say it's like every 3 weeks now they figure out something to get him out of it. But he's bulletproof. Like his base is too rich.
Way too big of a base.
Way too big of a base. But he had a guest on there, and he was essentially talking about how when each civilization has ended, the things that have ended it have been the same. And there's been this obsession with gender roles. And this discussion in and around who is what. Is this person crazy? Is this person like they didn't have names for it, but the end of civilization usually has to do with gender roles and like the misappropriation of them, the mixture of them, like literally men and women flip-flopping the gender roles in said civilization. Those are the signs of the end of those civilizations, and it feels like that's where the fuck we at right now. None of this shit makes any sense, and I have a much harder time having the conversations with folks who attempt to make it all make sense. Like, cause it's like it's okay to start with, hey, I don't understand, I don't know. I'd much rather land in that space, but to have full exposés and full think pieces just to say you don't know at the end seems so irresponsible.
Who was that said, I wonder if it was in our conversation or another conversation I had, I forgot what it was, but with all this like identification and like catering to identification, does that mean that in these times we should just open the fuck up and we can go wherever we want to because a person can identify as vaccinated?
I've seen that online. I've seen that meme. This week was hilarious for me.
They should be able to do whatever fuck they want to, right? Like, so that if we can get enough people backed up on that, you know.
You got it. If people gonna finesse and whoop mental health and leverage mental health, when Joe says I'm a mental health guy, I throw the phone. It makes me so uncomfortable. What the fuck does that mean?
I haven't listened to anything from Joe for a while, but it's still gonna have the clips though, right? So you're still gonna get like the articles or whatever that'll say some of these things. And when I read that, I was like, come on, man. Come on.
So I can't imagine what reading it felt like. Reading it probably looks nuts. Hearing it
knowing the background, you're just like, come on, man. Because I knew that angle had to come at some point. Like as soon as I saw the thing from like the sexual accusation, the accusation there, I knew it was coming. And then when Poe showed that balcony footage, or not Poe told us about the balcony footage, and I watched that part, then I was like, oh, it's coming. Like you can see that shit coming from a mile away.
Gee, the sick part about that, he's been saying that for months now. Because I'm a mental health guy, and nobody on his staff was like, bro, that sounds crazy to say. What are you saying?
Nah, because he's suffered. He's building a King of the Hill business model.
It's different if you suffer from something, but to sit up there and go on mental health, what the fuck does that mean, fam? What are you? Do you suffer from depression? I'm happy that the athletic and the athlete's journal where DeMar DeRozan and fucking Kevin Love have written these amazing pieces about their bouts with depression and anxiety as famous wealthy athletes. It's like, yo, that like take that like put some language to it. You know what I'm saying? Like shout out, but see this is where we run into problems at. Naomi Osaka. Fucking brilliant. And just exceptional. That's not a pursuit of famous. That's a pursuit of excellence. And going, hey, by the way, I ain't doing no press because that shit weighs on my mental health. I don't know how other athletes subject themselves to that, to sit up here and have y'all ask the same dumbass questions, uninformed dumbass questions. Like, why do the babies got to come through and show how shit is done?
Yeah. I mean, if anybody's paid attention to Naomi when she is in public, it is the hardest thing in the world for her to face the public. She just happens to be amazing at what she does. Like until she's more comfortable with being in the, like, y'all shoving faces in front of her like she's a grown ass adult. You know what I mean? And also the culture that she was raised in, she's not familiar with that. You know what I mean? So it's interesting. I can only imagine being the number 2 person in the world, sometimes number 1 person in the world. I can only imagine that taking place at that age, and that now being a part of your culture, and automatically you get all the endorsements, and because of your background, you get all of the endorsements, and all the people want to do all these pieces with you, all these interviews, all these magazines, you know, all this stuff they want to do, and they just want to throw it at you, and then you just know you no longer have your like your worlds, you know, you no longer have your life is no longer yours at that age.
Yeah. What did when you heard her statement? What did it? Because it reminded me.
I'm not gonna lie, because messed up. I'm not gonna lie. What my first thought was.
Well, no. Seriously, what was your first thought?
What the fuck Corday do?
What the? Hey, what you did?
Because you know he had album mode, so it had to be something wild that he did. You know what I mean? Like that's the first thing that came to mind, but I didn't want to take away from the fact that there is mental health issues, and like I do understand because I've seen how she is in public, and she, you know, seeing her on Ellen and shit like that, and Ellen be pressing her like Ellen's not a grown ass woman, and she just be like, you know, like this is uncomfortable for me, but you know.
No, I was proud. The kid, this generation behind us, they're just exceptional.
In tune.
The talent, the talent is one thing, but it's the emotional intelligence that I'm most proud of, you know. And then, you know, just hoping that
thank the baby boomers, man. You have to thank the baby boomers. The baby boomers don't get enough credit because they flooded the floodgates. Like they just came through with a mass number of individuals that you could not watch and be a part of each one of their lives.
Exactly.
So that birthed the freedom that we now have in whatever generation we're in now. You know, at this point, I can't keep up with the generations. I don't even know what generation I'm in, so I don't know.
And it's same. But to your point, G, that's where I'm hoping the connection is made, right? Because there's this disconnect and this segregation between the generations. Like literally, if from the baby boomers on down, there's this like, man, we don't fuck with them because they was going to church. Well, we don't fuck with y'all because y'all didn't go to church. And then the kids behind us, they really get a hard time because they soft apparently. It's like, nah, fam.
Yeah, like
everybody
shit like that.
Yeah. Everybody has these amazing qualities that they were afforded on the backs of the generation before them. We should all be bigging up one another and finessing this motherfucker together. That's why you see, if you really pay attention, really look at the roster around the quote unquote successful folks, and look at the different representations of the generations for the sake of a true feedback circle. Because if you only around niggas your age, you don't have a real feedback circle. If you don't have no OGs around, you don't have no true context. You really don't know what the hell you're talking about. So go get you some OGs for real. And then if you don't have no youth around you, you for damn sure don't know what you're talking about, because them niggas come up with a new word on TikTok every day.
Man.
Like they don't stop. It's almost like they don't sleep.
They don't. They don't sleep, and they're all connected. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're all a part. They're all tapped into the world. You know, like when they look into their screen, who they're communicating to. This is why their mental health is all over the place with virtual bullying and all that. But when they tap into a screen, like when I tap into a screen, I know specifically who I'm dealing with on my screen. You know what I mean? But like the way they be tapping into a screen, they'll have like thousands, hundreds of thousands of people paying attention to them at the exact same time. And it's like a human being wasn't meant to deal with this many people at once. Like this many opinions at once.
No, nigga, it's not supposed to matter.
You know, but when you're still in the development stage and not really knowing who you fully are just yet, you know, you're failing in the public eye, you know, because you don't turn it off, and that's gonna be a constant. So you can make gems, you can make amazing individuals. I think specifically in this context, Triple X was an amazing individual when it comes to creativity and some of the things that he was on and some of the things that he was thinking about and doing and how he was putting it out into the public, you know, like how the visuals were and all that. Like what he was into was interesting as fuck. Yeah. And you could see that it was only like the rate that it was growing was massive, you know what I mean? But he also had his demons and things that he had to work out that was, you know, youthful shit that, you know, you would want to bury somebody for, you know what I mean? So that was a thing as well. And then you had to pay that with his life, you know, but like that's how quickly they're moving though. Like they're moving so quickly that they could be the most creative beings in the world and be in tune with all this social justice stuff. And at the same time have a target on their head because of how visible they are.
And that's the part we were talking to. Shout out to Sean. That's really my homie for real. She's
oh my bad.
Shut up, nigga. You know good well to say no fucking my son. You dick. But she's tapping in. She's really about to focus and pivot on her travel journey and her food journey. Like just dope thinker in and around that space, and that is a career. We were having that discussion, but she was just saying how you feel. I'm like, bruh, I feel so charged, and I laugh at 20-year-old me because I was really walking around here thinking I knew some shit, man. Like. Hey. It's so laughable now though, bro. Like,
bro, it almost took me out thinking that I knew it all. You know what I mean? Like, you know how damaging it is when you believe that you know it all. Fuck, man. It fucks you up, and it fucks you up for a period of time. You know what I mean? Because you're only going to get shown every single time you think that you know it all. You're only going to get shown that you don't. That's it, over and over.
The sick part is to have that happen your entire 20s though. I mean, your entire 20s is like, nigga, I know everything. No, you don't. Whoop you. Just for you to go, all right, I won't do it no more. And then you get a little healed up, and now you right back to thinking you know everything, get whooped again. I did that my entire 20s, literally.
I think that's the natural progression from struggle though. Like when you come from struggle culture and you have to and you're attempting to break out of it, I think any progression outside of struggle, you feel like you know it all. Because like it's untapped territory for you. You know what I mean? Like the direction now is specifically on your shoulders. And you feel as if you know it all because you're making these moves for yourself. You know what I mean? Until you get to the correction phase, which however long that is. That was my 20s as well. But the entire correcting phase until you can completely break that off of yourself, like, I don't know shit. And then that's the freeing moment because now you get to flood in all this information that you was reluctant to take in because you thought that you had it.
Yeah, I'm grateful to be on the other side of it. I wish I would a 30-year-old Triple X runs the world. You know,
what?
A 30-year-old Tupac is probably an unstoppable force.
You know who I think that is though, and it is quiet as kept. I'll keep saying it because I'm not afraid to, and I don't feel any way about it as far as like ashamed or anything because of how old he is. But I see that for Jaden, and I see that for Willow.
Oh, what? Absolutely.
You know what I mean? But what they do doesn't have to be in the public eye, which is the beautiful part of it.
That's the whole lesson. Like we started this conversation talking about famous and infamous and all that shit. Bro, you know how much shit you can get done off the grid?
That's it.
Like we don't fuck the credit. Like fuck who said what. Like we need to be able to finesse. We need this to be as anonymous as possible. So it don't draw no cause no attention over here, my nigga.
That could be the name of this podcast, man. This episode. Fuck the credit. Because that's what they need to know. That's the message that needs to be known is fuck the credit. Like
we've been talking about it for 6 weeks, G. We've been saying it consistently, but I think we finally like are dialing it in like that. That's exactly why.
It's a constant. You know what I mean? Booty calls. Booty calls. You know what you gotta do, man.
Literally.
Like you gotta get this angle, Lex. I know what you're doing.
I
know what you're doing.
I know what you're doing.
That little number right there.
We landed on music, and that was our fan question this week. Before we shout out rest in peace X. They released Exodus this week. DMX's posthumous record. Did you guys get a chance to run through it?
Yeah.
Yes.
But yeah. What was the consistency? How did you feel?
I had mixed feelings because I felt like after listening to the project, I was like, this was X's bounce back.
Yeah.
Because he's been quiet for so long, and you could tell from the features and how the music sounds what he was going to do.
Yeah.
But then I'm happy that his family is going to be able to live off that and eat off that. But
yeah, it sounded like he had the care or the want to back, some of that hunger or whatever, just the appreciation of being in the game. That's a cool. That was evident over the project, I think. So I was happy to hear that. Yeah. It was a sad moment though, hearing that song for a son, just because I remember that Iyanla then
that episode,
yeah. I just remember how that was. So hearing that song, because you could still hear from his angle, he's from that age. You know what I mean? That age is where things that I do is for you to not do it. You know what I mean? Like it was an example for you not. I'm not going to start doing it. I can't. You know what I mean? Like there is no part of me that can do it. You know what I mean? But I'm too far in. But for you, because I can't speak about it. It's not like X was going to therapy himself to talk about the shit that was going on in his life. You know what I mean? Yeah. Or even if therapy would probably even work for how fucking deep his issues were, you know what I mean? Yeah. So like his thing was just like, I think he had a direct connection, a direct bridge to God. I think he really did have that. Like his the way that he spoke and the way that he did his prayers, it felt as if he was speaking, he had a conversation. And I think he also had a conversation with the devil. So I think that both sides, you can have the conversation, you know what I mean, and be completely open.
He did it. He did it every album. Damien in the prayer was exactly that, and that's the part, right? Shout out Swiss and crew for following through and getting it done as best as they could without X present for the last final stages of getting a record done. And anybody that's done it knows how hard this shit is to do it when all parties are present, let alone when the party it's based on isn't there for input, critique, none of that. So not gonna have a conversation about the music, the sequence, and none of it. That just had to be whatever it was gonna be. Mm-hmm. The only thing is when you hear what Pop Smoke's record turned into with 50 at the head, and just how the music felt. I'm just gonna leave it. That's all I'm gonna say. But I love what you just said, G. He had a direct channel to God. Like he had God number for, like, all of us got God Google number.
Right.
X know how to pull up on that nigga and have a real dialogue, but in the same breath, that other nigga he got on the line too. And he's been saying it forever and putting it in the music. And I just it was a hard listen. It was a really hard, it was an emotional listen. Because to Lex's point, based on the features, based on the music, it was primed. It was primed for the return. And just the beginning of it, you know, like I know people don't necessarily care for Nas's Yay album. That's I love that album. I love that album. That shit is flawless to me. But what King's Disease turned into and how Nas been sounding on records, it's like, yo, all right, niggas is getting okay. The niggas that pioneered this sound, they're getting sharp. They getting better. Hove sound like a machine. Nobody want that Hove smoke right now.
At all.
No, right now. Hove is dialed the fuck in. Black Thought is dialed in. Styles P is dialed the fuck in. These old niggas is nice for real. And I wanted that.
I got a hell of a Corona commercial, boy. Longest thing, Snoop Dogg.
Snoop really the GOAT. Snoop is really the GOAT. Snoop can do no wrong. Shout out X, shout out Swiss. Exodus is out. Please go tap in. But our fan question was from N8. Want more N8? My brother Nate. My favorite MC. It's not even close. He represents the city so well. He represents Richmond so well. But what he does, and I think I've said this to Nate. I hope I've said it to him in person so that he's clear on, because he listens to the show. He does listen. He taps into the pod every week. So I hope I've said this to him so that there isn't any confusion about what I mean by what I'm gonna say. Nate fulfills a space that no one else can. He's tapped into the streets for real. Like, street niggas fuck with Nate for real. Like, Nate be outside for real. But if you want bars, he can do that for real. And it's not, I don't know very many niggas from the West Coast that do that. Like, it might be some other niggas from other places that are able to do that. But as far as the West Coast is concerned, you usually either got to pick a side. You usually got to be backpack nigga or you got to be street nigga. It rarely is it both. And Nate embodies it and just does it with such fucking excellence. It's the most amazing thing to watch. I remember when we went to the Caribbean was for Poe's birthday, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And Nate's project came out. Me and Freak were sharing a room, and the sun was setting, and our shit was overlooking the ocean. And then we just turned Nate's shit on and watched the sunset, and was just smoking on the balcony. I was like, bro, this is the dopest thing I've ever experienced. There's a nigga from where I'm from rapping about fucking Margiela money is on that fucking on that project, and I'm just like, bro, this is crazy. You know, so shout out Nate. But I prefaced it that way because for his fan question, he said, now that it's 2021 and new artists are sampling early 2000s and late 90s songs right now, based on how 90s artists got punked trying to clear said samples, should they keep that same energy or make it extremely easy for new artists to clear their music?
I think that one.
Say it again.
I think you should lead that one.
I genuinely despise the sample clearing process. Like my Empire release was 2016, I think. Last Marauder was 2016, I think. Yeah, 2016, right? Yeah. I got 4 calls for sync licensing deals for 4 songs on that project. all four of them had the biggest samples I could have ever picked on. I had the Kendrick sample in "Oh Money." I had the fucking Grizzly Bear sample in the other one, and then I cannot remember what the other two samples were. But I know those two specifically got called for a Nike placement, and then a film placement, and I had no means of clearing them fucking things. To even begin the conversation, so this is how to hire a broker to start the conversation was $1,500 just to start the conversation. Then whatever, depending on the deal structure, so it would be to get the sample clear from Kendrick, it's three different entities you got to go through. Like, yeah, this is stressful for no reason, because it's literally half a word.
Mm.
You know, and you like, this is frustrating, but I chalked that up to the game and going, you just got to be able to play the game. So I wasn't mad then. I literally didn't get mad until a few weeks ago. TrackLib did like a collaboration with Bob James to sort of highlight. Bob James has one of the most sampled songs in the world, OG from the 70s, right? So they're interviewing him, and he's going, yeah, Run DMC, this they sample me this, but the way old white cuz is speaking about it, it's like, yeah, I didn't fuck with it because I didn't get paid on everything. If I get paid from everything, it wouldn't be a big deal. Then he proceeds to explain how he felt about the song that is one of the most sampled songs ever. He goes, yep, we're doing a record and we're done. And they go, yo, you got this amount of space left on the B side to finish it, so y'all got to come up with something. He said, man, so we just went in there and we came up with something, and that was the one we did to complete the B side. So you didn't really give him. So walk me back, Mr. Bob James. The most sampled song in the world is one that you deemed a throwaway. Some brilliant niggas was in the lab cooking up, found the sample, looped it up, and took it on one, and then everybody else went to go grab it, and now not this is one of the most sampled shits ever. You didn't give a fuck about it. You over here going, oh man, Peyton, you know, I get it, intellectual property. I'm always gonna ride for that, but it's the loop. Like niggas' whole projects have been stopped behind some samples.
But isn't that how it goes? Like, especially in entertainment or just period, that people deem themselves more important the further out they go. You know what I mean? Like, by the time you get to like an older age or whatever, some shit that you've done within your timeline, you can switch it up a little bit. You know what I mean? Or you can make it be like, okay, the attention ain't as great as it was when I was young, but now what I can hold on to is the fact that I did that. So now you know, basically, I think for the most part, people want you to bow down to the fact that they did some shit. But my thing is, in sampling, and this is the part that you can help me with, is that I think doesn't sampling just bring attention to your record?
In theory it should. But let's say, L, you made a song in '93. I go loop it right now, and some DJ does a TikTok viral mix and all the shit and brings some attention to yours, and your streams go up, then bet we lit, because you are feeling a residual effect of that. But if I take your song from '93 on one, and it becomes #1 on Billboard, you know what them royalty checks look like, fam. I need a piece. So I'm not mad at busting down the business. I genuinely don't like somebody being able to go, no, that's not coming out. Or if it come out, I want 100% of the public.
Part of it though, like, don't they bust down the business, or do they try to find a loophole to, or is it that we're just talking about percentage points? So are we talking about how much of the song is actually being used in order to, like, is that where they get caught up at? Is like what the percentage point is that should be going to the originator of it? Is that what the issue at?
No, they get caught up in both. Like, literally, there have been like, did you realize that you were a champion in their eyes? That Steely Dan shit that Ye did on Graduation. Them niggas told him no initially. We're not clearing this. And Ye's like, what the fuck? Like, it's damn near the hardest song on Graduation. I can't not have this come out. Ye had to write them a personal letter, like explaining like the relationship with his dad, like what the song meant for real, because this is rap shit. I don't give a fuck. And this is Graduation, Ye. And Steely Dan still told that nigga no. Like, you shouldn't be able to say no. That's what I'm saying.
Got it.
And so some people can still say no, but then if they don't say no, they go, "What? Are you desperate? We want 100% of the publishing it." And you're like, "Wait, what?"
Okay, so that's what I'm getting to. So it does come to the percentage then.
Yeah.
It'd be ridiculous on a percentage point.
Peter Guns and Lord Tariq, the Uptown Baby shit. I want to say that's Steely Dan too. Them niggas took 100% of the publishing on that song. They don't get no royalty check from that song. Peter Guns and Lord, it's one of the biggest hip hop songs ever. You know, okay. So it's
so I get it then. Because I do understand that the music business is that type of way. Like, it's a lot of dog eat dog shit, and like people are for no fucking reason.
Yeah.
But I that's the part I was getting hung up on, and that makes sense to me. Okay. Because I just be thinking about, doesn't it just bring attention to your shit? But I guess if that's the case and somebody doesn't clear because they're thinking that I should get 100%, then yes, chances are we're probably never going to clear this motherfucker because you're not getting.
Yeah, not 100% of.
Did I use your song? Like, did I just take your song and say it exactly like you? Then yes, 100% you can have.
I mean, there is hit making Tory Lanez, and them niggas is just literally just taking some shit from the 90s, looping that shit and using the same melody. They're just changing the words. So then I get it. Now I need 100% of that.
That makes sense. I would say even for that, then you should probably take like 75, 80%. You should never take 100% unless they're using your exact same words on your exact same beat. Then it sounds like 100%. That means like they didn't put no thought into this whatsoever. They just wanted to relive that moment again.
Yeah.
You know? And that makes sense.
And benefit from nostalgia. Bird Hitmaking them got a real factory over there. That's not even no hate shit. It's just like, yo.
Not at all.
Them niggas is just taking the fly shit from the 90s, and then they taking some obscure shit from the 90s too, and really flipping it and giving it its proper just due. So it's not a hate. I just thought when Nate sent that immediately after listening to Monday's episode, he's like, "Nigga, I got a question. How about this?" I thought
Yo, Money.
So shout out, yes sir.
Wasn't there a older artist who said, "I will never let a rapper sample my music"?
Yes, that was Tish, not Tish. I'm gonna say Tish Hyman. Shout out Tish Hyman. It wasn't Tish Hyman. What is her name? Fuck. Oh, Lex. I know exactly who you're talking about too, and I can't think of the name. She lives in Richmond now too. She lives in Richmond now too. But what's her name? I'll hit Bruno and figure out she's a world-renowned artist, by the way.
Yeah, she was just like, "No, I will never approve the sampling of any of my music to rappers." And I was like, "Damn, that's
ever."
That sounds like some shit though. Like, OG, is she R&B or rap?
R&B, but it's like more of a. She occupied a real unique space, and because it wasn't like traditional R&B. It was like a specific like late 80s, early 90s R&B. She lives in Richmond now, and I cannot think of her name. It's bothering me.
Got it, because that sounds like some of the old school shit. Because like some of the old school shit is like on that Oprah shit where they still think that rap be talking about bitches and hoes.
Yeah,
they ain't listen to rap since bitches and hoes was like the initial playground shit that they used to rap about.
Man, we Lex Bub has a hard out, but there's hella topics we didn't get to. G, please tell me you have a which one of yours would if you had to pick on some Hail Mary shit to go with on the way out? Because you got fire this week. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I apologize to everybody.
It's all good. I think we should close out on the niggas make up the wildest excuses to break up. But
you dick. You dick.
Get out. No.
You dick.
Talk about this. Nah, nigga, look at yours. We could bypass the shop. I just got the funny ass. Let's see. I'll save that for next week. The future comment. I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know if that'll be old by next week, but
Nah, it won't. It's only gonna ramp up because it's about to get spicy. Steve Harvey responded this morning, so
yeah. So we got
we got
because I wait for Steve just to bring out the shotty. Like I feel like he got some. You know what I mean? Like you could only play with so many dads. You know what I mean?
You feel me?
Daughters, then guess what, my nigga? Like,
you feel me?
Don't say nothing, but nigga, I will. But yes, I just want to say for the listeners to go take a look at and tune into In Our Mother's Garden. That's some of the clips that I was sending to you last night, Money.
That shit was amazing, G. I'm that's my plan today. So
yes,
thank you.
That's on Netflix. I got put on by a black woman on that, but and she just like outlined that it's an all women cast. There's a documentary talking about just the timeline for Black women in America, from the South, and then like the first generations being over in the North or in California and stuff like that. So just talking about navigating the world from each angle. So from being a daughter, having a child, being a daughter, mother, grandmother, up the timeline. But the person that I was sending was Dr. Coco Selassie. Bro, when I say the time that she is on,
she on a different type of time, G.
Bro, but she in tune, bro. Like the way that she talking, like she on some shit where like I don't know what happened in her timeline, but white folks better beware.
She sees some shit. Shout out Coco. That makes sense. Her name is Coco. That's hilarious.
What? But she had a cold bar. I could have kept sending clips, but I just figured that y'all should watch it. But
no, I'm definitely gonna watch it.
Yeah, but she got a cold ass bar talking about because she does the I think it's called Ingo. I'm sorry, I gotta do more research on it, of course. But just the cooking for your ancestors. But she was doing that part, and then she just said in a cold ass bar of the reason why you do that, like you don't feed them anything that you wouldn't feed yourself. So she's like skinning things to make sure that it's not rotted or whatever. And then when she cooks it, she's like, you got to think of it like this, like your ancestors are you on the other side and you are your ancestors on this side. So like you're constantly connected, you know what I mean? Yeah. So like that's something that I think, especially because there was a lot of hurt in that doc from Black people and Black women, what they're supposed to be connected to, and like how they were treated and how they were raised and stuff like that. And they just have to, I think everyone just has to remember, and I think Black men need to watch that for sure, but everyone has to remember that we're all connected to our mother's garden.
That's so far. With that, In Our Mother's Garden, please go watch that, and please go watch High on the Hog. It covers it covers the transformation of African food and how we influence American culture. Bro, I only got through episode 2 and was in fucking tears, bro. Like for real, please go watch High on the Hog. I encourage everybody to. Lex Bub, how you doing? Can we do one more, or you need to go?
Shit, I gotta go.
It's all good. We I saved by the bell. I was hoping you said that. I didn't want to have to answer it no way. So we gotta go. Don't say nothing else. We gotta go.
It's all good. We'll use it next week. We try these topics over the next week. Don't worry about it.
Hey, to my family, my guys, I appreciate you. I'm always inspired by you guys, always working. Like Bubble, be safe out there, brother. And to our listeners, keep tapping in. We want to keep our subscribers challenge going. So subscribe to the YouTube page, hit the notifications, and make sure you put somebody on this week. Absolutely imperative. And follow the Instagram page, Meet the Brave Podcast. And with that being said, we will see y'all next week.
Love.
Yes.